Can he play through this?
Not here. I don't think it happens here. But I will say that players find it all the time.
Wait, where in the world is he going to get another opportunity?
Well, let me go ahead and tell you like this. I keep seeing Sam Darnold get multiple opportunities. He looks pretty good, right?
Yeah, but Sam didn't have baggage like this going with him. You know what I mean?
Baggage is like, listen, we just talked
and
about...
no one's going to pick up his sorry to cut you off, G. Bush. No one's going to pick up this contract. There's so many issues here.
We talked. Well, the Browns are going to pay him. No one else is paying him.
Right.
So if you get Deshaun Watson, it'll be for free because the Browns will be paying him.
Yeah.
Second of all, we just talked about we don't care what the why is, right? We just said we don't care what the why is. He's just not playing well. Now, look, if you talk about the difference between Sam Darnold and Deshaun Watson, yeah, Deshaun Watson has baggage, but they both played garbage. At the end of the day, you see what Sam Darnold is doing. He's been on multiple teams. We wrote them all. By the way, this conversation sounds a lot like...
But Garrett, Sam Darnold never ever had a season like Deshaun Watson's had.
Sam Darnold was a top 3 pick and was benched multiple times. Sam Darnold was a laughing stock.
From a positive standpoint or a negative?
Positive standpoint.
Oh, he's never been
Deshaun Watson was a top 5 quarterback.
I agree with G, though, like that Darnold has done it, but I do think there's a difference. Darnold had never done it at the NFL level. So he had to be questioning, can I even do this? Deshaun at least has the mindset and the knowledge of knowing, I can do it, I've done it.
So, and we'll continue on. We'll give you the more case studies. Okay, we wrote, this sounds like a conversation we had exactly for Baker Mayfield. Just the same one. At the end of Baker Mayfield's career, we act like it wasn't everybody in their mind being like, we got to go. This is done. It's over with. It's never going to happen. Bull, you said it yourself.
Not everybody said that.
Bull said it himself.
Of
Baker
course I
is
did.
done. Now, look. Baker, guess what? He had to go through 3 teams. He had to go through. He had to change his mentality. He had to change the way he was. And guess what? He fell in a place where it worked out, where he got somebody that believed in him. He was able to go through life experiences and said, "Okay, now I get it." It's anybody can make a change. Anybody can get better. It's just about whether or not you're willing to put the time, energy, and effort into it, or if you get another opportunity to do so. Now, as far as for here, no. I don't think you turning nothing around here. This is already baked in. You know why? There's 3 things. It's hard to get confidence when flat out there's a lot of people that just don't like him here. Even
people don't like him a lot of places.
That's it. So especially, but you expect at home. Like, at least your home fans kind of like you. It might even be the opposite. It might be people don't like him more here than outside of here. So when you play bad, and when you got people that want Baker, you got people that say we should have kept Flacco, and you're playing like trash, and the team is playing like trash around you, sometimes that's too insurmountable. He's not going to do it here. It's not going to happen. The question was, is he going to turn it around? Can he play through it this year? The answer to me is no. Am I ruling that out somewhere else? No.
Yeah. But I don't. The problem with somewhere else that Baker didn't have and Darnold didn't have. The problem with Deshaun doing it somewhere else is someone's going to have to step up, one of the other 31 teams, and say, Cleveland, we got the $175 million.
No. G's saying they're going to have to eat the money.
They're going to eat that money.
And somebody else will give them a chance
they're going to eat that
for
money.
no money.
So what are the chances that the Browns, at this point, based on what we know, step up and say, we'll eat the money?
I mean, at the moment, it doesn't seem likely, but because they absolutely should do that at the end of this year.
They should.
Yeah.
But what have they done? They've doubled down on stupid.
They have.
That's what they're doing right now.
That's a typical trait for them, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, that's baked in this team's DNA.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll give you a couple stats. He's played now 17 games. It's a full season in Cleveland. Yeah. Spread out over 3 years, by the way.
Yeah.
He's thrown 19 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. That's not it.
I actually think, and now that's terrible. And I actually think, in my opinion, it's. I think he's played worse than those numbers would indicate.
And
those numbers.
You know what? You're right. Because when I counted them up, I'm like, wow, it's not as lopsided as I figured it was.
Jay, you won off. It's 18 touchdowns, by the way. Just a heads up.
No, he threw 7 his first year.
I'm looking at it right now.
7 his second year, and 5 this year.
I'm looking at it right now. Unless Pro Football Reference is wrong.
Okay, how many do you have his first year?
According to Pro Football Reference, and I'm going to refresh in case it's
maybe one of you including a rushing touchdown.
No. I mean, I want to be right. If it's 18, then it's 18. But
According to Pro Football Reference, 7.65.
Point still relevant.
So I had him with 7 last year.
I'm just looking at Pro Football Reference
Okay.
right now. Yeah.
Either way, the numbers suck. The numbers suck, and he's been terrible. Will somebody give him a chance whether it's if the Browns
check
cut
that.
him?
ESPN has him for 7 in 20.
When you say like Deshaun,
We'll dig into it. But Jay, finish your point.
So
'cause
here's
that
my
actually
bigger
isn't your
point.
Yeah.
That stat isn't the dagger to me.
Yeah.
Here's the dagger. He has settled more sexual lawsuits than he's thrown touchdowns
That's true.
by a substantial margin. The one thing that we could say, well, Baker came back.
Yeah.
Now remember, Baker had been passed around like a used baseball.
He played terrible for 2 years.
He was awful in Carolina.
Yep.
He went to LA and resurrected his career, particularly
with
for me
one
on
game.
that, on
was
that
really just
Thursday
one
night.
game.
One
Yeah.
game. And it was prime time.
What he did
was unbelievable.
What he did in LA was impressive enough for Tampa Bay to step up and say, "We're going to pick him to replace Tom Brady."
But it was,
and they don't regret that decision.
Well, they also were thinking that they were going to be a bottom tier team and looking for a new quarterback.
And look what happened.
So they're like, okay, a little.
Bull had them last year as a
risk versus reward.
5-win team before the season.
Yeah,
They made the
I think
playoffs.
most people probably.
So what I'm
would
saying
have
is, and I don't think this is really up for any debate. He's resurrected his career,
Yes.
but he didn't settle 24 sexual assault lawsuits
I
against him.
I don't think Deshaun Watson is going to get another job.
I don't either. No, I don't either.
Now-
Why would somebody give him another opportunity?
Yeah.
How do you sell that to your fan base,
to
guys?
compete, to be a backup?
Yeah.
Maybe without the sexual assault baggage.
Oh,
maybe,
certainly somebody would have given
but
him. Yeah.
who is going to step in front of a microphone and sell their fan base on? Here's your answer.
Dude,
Here he is.
If Kaepernick couldn't get a look,
Right.
and he didn't. I mean, his stuff was
He didn't
was
assault,
nothing.
He didn't settle any
I mean,
sexual assault lawsuits.
some people were
Kaepernick got
offended.
blackballed by the
So
league.
here's
Right.
ultimately
Okay.
the reason
Well,
I think
Deshaun's probably going to get blackballed by the league too.
for a
I
different
mean,
reason.
I-
Partly because of his play.
Yes.
I mean,
Well-
listen. I mean, let's keep it real, man. Like, I mean, there's Brett Favre got another job, right? He had all kind of assault charges. He had to pay people.
No. Well, hold on now.
He didn't pay nobody.
Not all kinds.
He had a couple.
He had the issue in New York
wasn't that
with the team sideline reporter.
Right, but we didn't know about that
But
till
let's
his career
not
was
say
over.
all
Hey,
kinds.
but listen, here's what I'm
Let's
going
be
to say.
accurate.
Here's what I'm going to say is one is enough, right?
Well, okay, you're right, but 24 is like, what the hell are we
Yeah,
doing?
but we didn't know about that before he's playing.
I keep telling y'all.
No, that didn't come out until after he went to the Jets.
I keep telling y'all, listen.
Yeah.
If you want to dip back into when you start dipping back in, and you could get rid of Deshaun Watson because he ain't no good.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm not going to be lumping all kind of allegations in on it to put the scale over the top.
But G, would you agree
But
with
you
this?
have-
We've never
yeah.
seen anything of this scale, not even close.
Are you serious?
Where?
The presidential election. What are you talking about?
No. G, let's
Hold on,
please
whoa,
keep it to
whoa.
football.
No. Ain't no keep it to football.
Oh, so now we're going to turn politics.
It ain't politics. It's sexual assault.
Somebody accused Joe Biden of rape.
Guess what?
What happened to that?
And he didn't get blackballed either.
No, he didn't. And let's just
He
keep it
didn't-
to football. Let's be smart.
No,
Let's be smart.
What is it? No, hold on.
apples
Here-
to apples.
Assault is assault. Here's the problem I got. We take and pick which one we're oh my gosh, we can't believe this. We've never seen this before. Yes, we have. We see it in everyday life. And we're fine with it.
Gee, I think everybody here on this panel, and I don't know, maybe not.
If you're going to keep it to football, keep it to
let's.
football.
Let's.
Yeah.
And when I say keep it to football, if he's not good, then
Right.
no one will give him a shot.
Right.
I don't
Listen,
need to
listen.
put. Hold
Gee.
on.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
don't need to continue to put allegations on top to make my point. My point is, if it's football, keep it football. You see how that works?
I agree with everything you're saying. However, whether you
Explain it away. Go ahead.
No, Jay.
Try. Go ahead.
You have to admit that teams will factor that into a decision whether they should bring him in for competition.
And Bull, they
Will
should.
not?
Bull, they should.
I'm talking.
Yeah, but will they-
Here's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
My point is this: as an individual, as a black man in this country, you get tired of people factoring in when it makes sense for that. If you're gonna factor it in for everything.
You're right.
And, well, gee, that's
Garrett,
what I'm
right.
saying.
Garrett,
actually. I'm saying let's factor in
I
everybody
understand.
that's played football. When I say this is unprecedented, show me anybody else. that has settled 24 sexual assault lawsuits, and I will bury them too.
Hey, Ben Roethlisberger didn't have 24, but he had
2,
and he was never blackballed from the league.
He was not.
Also
but
Because he played well.
Again,
Because he played well. And if Deshaun Watson had played well, nobody would care.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
Sadly, Bull,
That's my
you are
point.
right.
Yeah.
So it's not about the allegations. You're worried about if he's playing well or not, and if he played well, we would forget about it.
Yes,
Yes.
100%.
That is crap.
But
It is crap.
But gee, you
But that's
do
the reality.
realize that that's the way it is.
but here,
Guys get away with stuff when they're
Let me ask you this.
No one said this
Punt
is the
God.
right thing
Remember
to-
Punt God, everybody? Everybody remember Punt
Yeah.
God? Where's he?
I was just going to say.
got a job now.
He got a job.
Where is he?
But he was out of the league.
Chiefs kicking
He's a
back
starting
punter.
punter for the Chiefs.
What happened to him?
Yeah, he got
Blackballed.
cut.
Blackballed.
And-
Yeah.
Blackballed.
Not just
I
cut.
was just going to say, make the same point.
He was Punt God.
He was the best
And later
punter.
came out that the female that made the accusation made it all up.
I've been clear about.
And then he got
So,
cleared.
I've been clear about
And
this
finally,
from day
now,
one.
if all 24 of these women's stories are refuted, then we can wipe all that clean. All of it.
I've been clear about this from day one when it came to Trevor Bauer, to the punt guy, to Deshaun Watson. I hate the fact that we sit here and act like women have no possibility of lying. It's crazy to me.
I think at this point we've gone too far off track.
Yeah,
But-
I feel like we should get back on track.
No,
Which is right for me to say.
the point of being on track is this.
Yeah.
If we're going to sit here and have the conversations about the football, I'm talking about the football. I'm not going to 35 allegations and blah, blah,
Well,
blah.
whether Deshaun Watson ends up on another team after the Browns is not really doesn't really okay.
And
I don't
gee,
even care.
I would be with you if it was 1, 2, maybe even 3. But the reason I think this has to be factored in is because I'm just looking at it from other GMs' point of view. Are other GMs going to ignore it and just look at the football?
Fair or not, they're
maybe
not
if
gonna
it was
ignore it.
1,
Yeah.
maybe
Garrett.
if it was 2, not if it's 24. They're not going to ignore it, so we shouldn't.
They're
either.
not going to ignore it because he's bad right now.
Right.
Everybody ignores
If
it.
he was bowling out,
Yeah.
he would be a
And that's
comeback
absurd
player
that
of
that's
the
the
year
case,
story.
but that's it is what it is.
I'm just to be honest, and I'll let Dustin say what he wants. To me, that's a moral compass, bro. I don't care about that. Me individually,
Yeah.
you don't have to cower down to those standards and say that's just the way it is. That's BS. You can say, I don't agree with that, and I don't care what any general manager say. In this country, until you are proven guilty, until you go through a court trial, until you go through all these things, you got an opportunity to say, I did not do that. And guess what? Here's the point.
I agree with that.
And so my thing is this. I'm not going to personally say, just because a general manager feels that 23 is too many for them to give him a shot, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that for anybody, any man.
Agree.
You, him or her.
That's fine, G. But the question was
The real world that it
We're
matters.
living in
The
reality.
question was, would he get a job? And fair or not, you know that teams are going to factor that in whether they decide
to your
to give
point,
him a
G,
chance.
just to make it, just to be clear, that you brought up Brett Favre. There was one allegation. This was after he got the Jets.
Well,
job.
there's also what he did down in Missouri, or not Missouri.
That was all post-career. That was Mississippi.
Well, no, but he's a bad guy. I mean, I
Well,
think we know that. But
Trevor Bauer's a bad guy.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm going to give you 2 examples.
this is
I'm going to
riveting.
give you an example where 2 women came forward who were in sexually consensual relationships with Trevor Bauer.
Yeah.
And they made allegations against him that cost him his livelihood, his career, and $250 million. Then I'll give you case B. Deshaun Watson had 24 women allege that he was inappropriate sexually in non-consensual relationships. He was rewarded with a $230 million guaranteed contract and still stinks up the field every Sunday. What's wrong with this picture?
I wouldn't say rewarded. Your team
Rewarded? $230 million is a
Hold on.
reward.
Here's the thing. Be mad at the owner for giving him the contract.
I am.
Like, be mad at.
I'm
listen,
furious at the owner
I
for
don't-
giving him
look,
that contract.
Here's my thing. I don't care about the money. I don't care that he got $234 million. If he did it, he's a scumbag. If he didn't do it, he has an opportunity to say he didn't do it.
If he didn't do it, he's a victim.
The money has no part in it. Like, just because you're rich don't mean people can pull up on you and say, you did this, and you got to just take that. That's BS.
the only part that the money matters is that it might stop the Browns. If he wasn't getting paid crazy money, the Browns would have moved on already, probably. Whereas,
Absolutely.
because he's making that money, it affects whether they are going to give him more opportunity.
You know what
Dustin,
was
I feel like
appropriate
I
for
feel like
Deshaun
we over talking you. Go ahead.
A
What you want?
3-year
No,
contract
I understand.
with a 4th and 5th year in the contract but not fully guaranteed.
Yeah, well.
The Browns were bidding against themselves.
The ship has sailed, unfortunately.
That's done.
It's done.
I just feel like we've derailed the conversation from the topic, which was about performance, to a topic that's very sensitive to you, obviously. And I feel like we should get back on track. That's my thoughts.
I agree with that.
We were talking about Watson's career after he leaves.
Yeah,
Sure.
That's not really.
I think to just put a bow on that conversation side of the conversation, Deshaun stinks right now. Okay,
Yeah.
and so all these other things, red flags, whatever you want to call them,
they don't even matter.
They don't. I mean, they're
Not
there.
now. Hayes in the barn.
Right, they're there. Okay, but then you've got the performance side of things. If you're a good player, like Michael Vick got a second chance and he balled, which is a kind of rare but also an amazing thing. He's.
You know what?
I love Michael
one of
Vick.
the things
But
that happened with Michael Vick that Michael Vick will speak to today and tell you was
Yeah.
a big catalyst in his
Having
turnaround
remorse?
was Tony Dungy.
Yeah, Dungy was a big
And when
factor.
you read anything that Michael Vick says about his comeback,
well,
and when you listen to
Tony
interviews,
vouched to Andy Reid.
well, but what I'm saying about that, it was when Andy Reid came to Tony. Tony said, "Yeah, there's something there. Let me work with the young man."
yeah.
The one thing I haven't seen from Deshaun Watson that I wish I had, and I implored him, I begged him before this season, delete your socials, all of them. Go dark. It matters zero. It doesn't matter. You're trying to make people like you by your vacation locales and your clothes.
But that's not.
It doesn't matter.
That's your,
one thing
Jay,
mattered.
That's
Ball out.
That's your perception.
It is my perception. I'm not.
That is not the reality. We're espousing that he's trying to make people like him by his vacation. It's called living his life. We go on vacations all the time.
Well, you don't post them.
It's Instagram. People post everything.
I get it.
It's
There's a disconnect from me and that generation.
Yes.
Gee, I get it. But what I'm saying is, if I'm Deshaun Watson coming into the season, I ask myself, how do I succeed? And I'm also asking myself the same question Tom Brady asked himself for his whole career. Is the decision I'm about to make right now with this meal in front of me, is that going to make me a better quarterback or a worse quarterback?
He's not thinking about that.
I know he's not, and he should be.
He's thinking about, listen, he's living his life. Look,
Live your life.
When people talked about Baker Mayfield, and I thought it was dumb as hell too. Baker's not playing well because he did all these commercials. What? He did all those commercials in one day. What are you talking about? If you don't think Baker Mayfield is trying to be a good quarterback, or if he's a bad quarterback, you don't have to make up things to go along with it to make it seem like this is the reason. He's not playing well because he's not reading defenses and coverages correctly, and it is what it is. You have a right to live your life on Instagram. And if that triggers fans because their favorite player is not playing well, then that's something wrong with you.
Sometimes don't you have to read the room and have some
That's
awareness?
it.
Like can I just talk
Perception
for 1
is
second,
reality.
For God's sakes?
Talk.
You guys are blabbering. I want to get in here on this a little bit.
Dive
okay?
in.
I just think the situational awareness off the field kind of equates to on the field. Doesn't have a lot of awareness on the field. Doesn't have a lot of awareness off the field. I don't know. Maybe it matters. I'm done. Sorry.
It matters because perception is reality. You're right. The perception of Baker Mayfield was, why is he shooting all these commercials?
That's stupid.
That wasn't reality. It wasn't pulling him away from being
That was
great.
dumb.
But it gave the fans a log for their fire. And what I said at the beginning of the season is, if I'm Deshaun, I am eliminating the noise. I'm hunkering down. I'm going in my silo, and I'm surrounding myself with people that, not yes people.
Zero
not
dark
Quincy,
30.
Not Quincy, not somebody who's going to say, you the man, dog. I don't want that. I want someone to come to him and say, you need to look in the mirror and inspect yourself as a player and as a person.
Yes.
And
somebody
what
he
I
trusts.
would say about the social media, I agree. I'm the old man who just doesn't see any value in that whatsoever. That's fine. But the perception here is the reality. He gave them something to use against him, and now they're killing him with it.
But guess what? You talk about and some people that's in his fan base ain't gonna like you regardless. It don't matter if he went 0 dark 30, never bought a car, stayed out of the way. Matter of fact, here's how you know this is that don't fly. Last year when he had surgery, those same fans said Deshaun Watson is in the press box instead of being on the field with his team.
They did.
That was stupid. Why would you have a surgery, be on the sideline so somebody can run into you, just so you want to make it like he doesn't care about his teammates? What? They did this, hold on, same thing Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr. never tweeted out after his surgery, congratulations, Browns. People be looking for stuff, and these is facts. Like let's go back and watch it. So if people want to act like that's the reason they don't like him, so be it. because they're fickle. They're going to move this way or that way.
To your point that there were going to be fans that didn't like him anyhow, I would say this. Question, how do you make all of the fans of your football team like you?
Win.
Well, I mean,
Isn't that it? Joe Flacco was the enemy for his entire career.
Play well.
He walked in here for 8 games or whatever it was, played his ass off, and all of a sudden, he's the king of the castle.
If you
win games, fans will follow.
I don't even think you have to win games. You have to play well.
Winning, ultimately, it's a winning-loss
yes,
business.
okay, but it's also stupid to some degree to judge quarterbacks based on wins and losses.
Well, but that's what fans do.
Especially in a small sample size. It doesn't make any sense.
He balled out Sunday and Indianapolis lost. He's getting love for his 350 yards and 3 touchdowns, but not if he would. If he'd have won, it would have been more.
And Joe Flacco played good here. We overrated how he played. He threw a ton of picks. He made his mistakes.
He won games and got us to the playoffs.
And he contributed to getting to the playoffs. He won a few games at the end of the year. A bunch of guys won games.
They were all big.
But still, if you play well, the fans like you. Deshaun Watson came here with baggage and had to turn the fans. There were a percentage of the fan base that didn't like him already. Fair or not, doesn't matter.
Right.
They had that perception.
Yeah.
If he would have played great, 99% of those fans would have come around. If Deshaun Watson had played great here and they were winning and they were getting deep into the playoffs, all the fans that complained about trading for him, or almost all of them,
they would have
come around.
Yeah.
Instead, what's happened is the people that were like, I don't really like this, but he's good, so I'm going to root for him.
Ours.
Those people have now gone the other way. They're like, I can't believe I sold my soul and he's not even good. And again, whether he did or didn't do, people believe what they believe.
Hey, listen, I keep saying it. It's about your play on the field. And
that's it.
And guess what? When I watch it, listen, people can say, oh, you're defending Deshaun Watson. No, I said exactly what everybody else said. I talked to McNuggets on yesterday on the phone. I said, this is the worst I've seen a quarterback play in years. I talked to him about looking at what is wrong with him and how he goes about it. The only problem that people have, and you're going to have a problem with me, is this. I ain't got no problem telling you how you play on the field. When you start to do off the field stuff and we start putting all this other stuff into the game, no, that's not what I don't sign up for. That what I sign up for is if you can play or can you not play. And at the end of the day, those narratives about what he is or what he was coming into the game have no bearing on the situation because he sucks right now.
Yeah, he can't play. And Kevin Stefanski is failing the entire team by not benching him now.
I agree with that.
And I don't care if it's a Jimmy Haslam call. If you're Kevin Stefanski, you have to bench this guy.
Yep.
And today's Wednesday. He's speaking. When is he speaking, Mike?
12:30.
12 o'clock today.
Okay. I'm hoping.
I said this Monday.
I doubt it, but I'm hoping he comes out today and says, hey, I thought about it. We need to make a change.
I said exactly what you just said Monday. Yeah. I said my hope is he had a long flight home.
Yeah.
He got home and his wife and his kids were looking at old highlight videos of Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
And they weren't talking to him. And he woke up in the morning and said, I've got to do right by my other 52.
That's right.
I need to save this season if it's possible. Right now there's a 4% chance we make the playoffs. You're telling me there's a chance. And I see what I see for the last 5 games, and that's not it. And I've got a guy in the backup role. Last year, I caught lightning in a bottle with a backup. I owe it to this football team and its legion of fans who continue to support this dumpster fire.
That's right.
To get the best team on the field to win, and he is not the best quarterback.
What makes you think he's going to do that now? And he didn't have the heart, the gumption to do it.
Oh, I have no faith he's going to do that.
I honestly think,
he said, I hope.
Yeah. Knowing the organization the way that we do, and Jay knows too, some of the inside stuff, is like, they listen to everything that's out there.
They do.
And the fact that the tide has turned to where people are saying that it's okay to move on. Like, mistakes been made. Like, you bench the guy, you pay him, you move on, blah, blah, blah. Now it's going to happen.
I hope you're right.
You'll see. I mean, it's either going to happen today or it'll happen next week. But
I think it happens after another embarrassing offensive performance.
Oh, yeah. But I'm
it
saying,
will then be an avalanche of criticism.
But
every national voice out there is
Orlovsky,
saying this is
Stephen
ridiculous.
A. I mean, Sims. I mean, you
even
name
Shannon
it.
Sharp jumped
Shannon Sharp jumping on.
Yeah.
Like, so when these people start, the tsunami starts, right? They're always reactive to it.
It's not just the change at quarterback. Kevin Stefanski also has to tell. He's got to get on the, whether it's Jimmy or whoever. He's got to get on the phone with Jimmy and say, hey, here's the deal. I'm the head coach of this football team. Jameis Winston is the quarterback. B, I'm calling my offense.
My offense.
That's it.
Yep.
You don't like it? You could.
We saw
your option
yours
is
for
to fire
5
me.
weeks, Paul DePodesta.
That's right. No, I don't know. I mean, that.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I know where you're going.
Yeah.
Does anybody here remember this storyline? When it came out that Paul DePodesta actually has right of first refusal on the game plan, he is involved in stalling the game plan. Am I the only one that remembers that storyline?
Yeah, I remember
Am I
that.
making that up?
He was in. He got to sat in on the meeting when they go over the game.
Well,
plan.
I remember
I don't remember
a specific
him having
storyline.
first-
Mike, I don't know, maybe you can find it online. It was a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, some way, and the Browns are not a tight ship. Stuff gets out.
Yeah, that's true.
Stuff gets out.
Unlike
Tighter
the
now
Guardians.
than it was, but yeah.
Yeah, well, they have circled the wagons a little bit,
Yeah.
but stuff gets out. And if I'm not mistaken, a couple of years ago, there was a story, and I don't know that it had ever been corroborated because it can't be, because the Browns are never going to admit to that.
Yeah.
But the story was Paul DePodesta has the final stamp on that playbook for any given week. He can put things in, he can take things out. And I remember at the time thinking, that's why I've been so anti-Paul DePodesta and the way this organization is run. The guy had his background in sports was baseball.
Right.
And you're going to tell me that he's qualified to sit there and tell a head coach whose life has been the game, who has risen the ranks and had success enough to get the label of head coach, you're going to let a former baseballer who never won anything put a final stamp of approval on a game plan?
Yeah. I don't remember that specific. If you're right, then that's a disgrace,
I'm kind of questioning
obviously.
it because
Yeah.
Mike's found something.
Tony Grossi wrote an article in 2022. It doesn't necessarily say exactly that, but I'll read you two little snippets.
Maybe
that
I'm
I found
misremembering it.
in a quick search. I just searched Paul DePodesta, Browns game plan, final say. Let me do a prize picks read real quick before we get to that, just because we.
That's fair.
Leroy, by the way, has no power. He's not going to join us. It's
God.
not because of the hurricane. He said it's not because of weather. He just
good.
his town lost power. So let me do prize picks read, then we'll get right back into this conversation. But Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure when your picks hit. You get your money back in as quickly as 15 minutes. Download the Prize Picks app today and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONNFL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play just $5, and you don't even have to win to receive that bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game when you want. Okay, this is from the Tony Grossi article. 2 little snippets after a quick search. So if there's more in-depth stuff, I'm sure it's out there. This is just 2 little snippets from Tony Grossi. Quote, Paul DePodesta has pretty much convinced owner Jimmy Haslam that the only way to build a Super Bowl team is by consistently throwing for explosive plays in the passing game, apparently no matter the weather conditions. Stefanski's job is safe because he completely adheres to DePodesta's advanced statistics or analytics models and not resisting them. Disagreeing with or rejecting DePodesta's research could be Stefanski's quickest ticket out of town. Quote, in the article, Haslam believes in analytics so much, the source said in an electronic message. I think the head coaches try to please him throwing the ball. We sat in countless meetings about how important it was to throw the ball. A 4-yard run was of no value on the analytic chart, and it was about a 13-yard pass and more. Only 7-yard runs were of value. Depot came up with some magical score that they followed to a T, end quote.
Okay. I mean, I don't know that it completely – I don't know I was completely right, but in reading that, what it tells me is whatever tug of war was going on internally in terms of control of the direction of the offense was won by Paul DePodesta.
Kevin Stefanski has always been on board with analytics. You could tell by the decisions he makes.
Tony said that.
I don't know. And Tony has analytics. He's anti-analytics. He doesn't understand analytics.
By the way, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
By my recollection, I thought it was a Mary Kay report. And I thought it was longer than 22 ago.
Like I said, I did a super quick Google search. That was the first thing.
Guys, I think one of the things, like we don't understand about this thing is we doing surface level dives on this stuff. This stuff is deeper than like who's calling plays and all. Like they got a legitimate problem. They don't up front. I don't think I've watched multiple people talk about the All-22, and I've watched the game 3-4 times. It should alarm every single fan that your offensive line does not even look like they know who to block from play to play. And I know we get on the quarterback, and the quarterback is a shiny thing, and I say, listen, I live in reality. I understand that if you are the quarterback and you're not getting it done and not playing like he is it, somebody else is going to come get you, because that's the way the world works. But the Browns have a bigger issue than just quarterback and who's calling plays, and they have no cohesive running format, no style, no scheme. They don't even have people that know what they're doing up front to block people. They don't know. Like I'm watching guys that break this stuff down for a living say, I multiple times, what route is Amari Cooper running? What route is that? He just kind of ran up and stopped. Like, why are they sliding to protection to the left when they don't need the slide protection? You're giving a guy a free run at the quarterback.
This is never, to your point, G, that's never been, these questions you're asking now, we've never asked those questions in the past 4 years with Stefanski, have we?
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Stefanski is your coach, right?
Right.
When Bill Callahan left, why did he choose a first-time coach to run his run game? Why?
But I don't know.
That's baffling to me. That's malpractice. The best thing about Kevin Stefanski is he had people in different positions that were experienced, competent, and knew what they were doing. Then you turn around and say, we're getting rid of the tight ends coach, we'll bring in Tommy Rees. He's a college guy. You're going to get rid of Stump Mitchell, we're going to bring in Deuce Staley. Okay. You lose Callahan, you bring in this Charlton guy who was coaching at UConn. And he's going to run your running game? You got a new offensive coordinator, a new offensive line coach. He's picking those people, unless Jimmy Haslam's picking those guys too. That's the thing I'm talking about. It goes so much deeper than what it is in calling plays. It's, can you get people to play hard for you? Right now, 4 years ago, we never had people say, are they playing hard for Kevin Stefanski? I challenged that.
Even last year.
Last year.
They're not playing hard now.
They're not playing hard. The coaching staff, you have the opportunity. You're the one who picks these guys. The time management stuff, the timeouts when 12 men on the field 2 times in a row. Like, the problem that I have is this team looks like a good college team. I don't think they beat Alabama or Ohio State some days.
Man, Alabama just got their ass kicked by Vandy.
And that just goes to show you how bad they are.
Wait, did we just say Vandy's better than the Browns?
Right. Like, so I watch it and I say, hopefully they can put Jameis Winston in the game and it sparks them, and some of those few runners are going to be eliminated because Jameis will move the protection the right way. Jameis will get to his third step and let the ball go. And maybe that'll give him a little bit of a spark. But my thought process is this. If he waits too long to go to Jameis Winston, people going to be checked out then.
Well, they're checking out.
Yeah, I mean, if the Browns are not, we all know the Browns are not making the playoffs, but if they have any remote hope of making it, they've got to win this week.
Well, you're not making it at 1-5.
No. I mean,
it's 5% or 4% at 1-4. At 1-5, it's probably never been done.
They would already have to probably win right now 10 of their last 12 games.
I found the article that sparked my memory. It goes back to 2020. It was written by Forbes, and the headline is "Demystify." Now, this was 4 years ago, guys, and we still haven't seen what's back behind the curtain. The headline: Demystifying the mysterious Paul DePodesta and his analytics-grounded process. I won't read the whole thing. I'll just read a couple of things that jumped out at me. And the way it starts is funny but sad. The question posed to Paul DePodesta during his media availability, this first line of the paragraph of the story, on Tuesday was simple. What do you do for the Browns? DePodesta, along with a few media members, laughed. They laughed because it is shrouded in mystery. What's a baseball guy doing running a football team? Mm-hmm. DePodesta has spent more of his time with the Browns in the grayest area of the Browns' power structure. The article goes on to say that he has won Jimmy Haslam's favor, and DePodesta is quoted in this piece as saying, I tell Jimmy, and he's listening, get the coach in place and the general manager in place, and everything will fall in line after that. I know I'll be here. So that tells me that when they were hiring Barry and when they were hiring Stefanski, the one doing the interview, Jimmy Haslam, made it very, very clear. You will step in line behind Paul DePodesta. We want to march to the same song, but he's the band leader. And DePodesta confirms as much in this article from 2024. And there's a lot. Everyone should Google it and read it. It's Forbes 2020. It's Paul DePodesta and the mystery of what he does for this team. I know you said the play calling doesn't matter so much. To me, as a fan who's making a decision, how much longer can I put up with this? And I'm asking that question, maybe for the first legitimate time in my life. What I have to see is that the people running the organization aren't so tone deaf that they're going to finally come to the conclusion that everybody else that's watching pro football and the Browns has come to. This experiment failed miserably. It is over. Turn the page. That's it.
By the way,
and if they can't come to that conclusion, I don't know how long I can blindly march behind this song and with this band that's going to walk me right over a cliff.